Alright, the next part of Malacca history from 1511 to 1641 was the Portuguese. So this is actually connected to somewhere where I was earlier, Goa, India, and Kochi, India, where the Portuguese were. And they first, after Da Gama discovered that you could go around Africa and get to the Indian Ocean from Europe, the Portuguese set up a colony in Kochi and then Goa, and Goa ended up being their main base in the early 1500s, 1510, and they wanted a route to the Spice Islands and to China from India, and they came around here and ended up taking Malacca. So the Sultanate of Malacca was doing great for a long time with the backing of Ming China. And ooh, look at the school. Jungha, let's get closer. And stuff. Alright, so just like in southern India, Ming China had their back there too, and Jungha set up connections with Kochi and Calicut and many places around there. But when the Ming dynasty decided to close off its doors and no longer deal with the outside world, some kids on that side came over. Ah, did you hear them? This opened the door for the Europeans. So the European Portuguese, wanting to get rich off the spices, had open seas with their firepower, especially in cannons and guns. They were able to overtake the areas of Southeast India that had no more help from the Ming Chinese. And then eventually, 1509, they were scoping around here, and there was a big battle here in Malacca. So Malacca was a thriving port of 15,000 people, hundreds of ethnicities, traders from all over the world. And the Sultan saw these Portuguese ships coming in, and he got his interracial community to try to fight, but the superior firepower of cannons and guns overtook them. They even had a Hindu regiment with war elephants. Old Portuguese stone. Let's walk around to the front. Okay, so with this superior firepower and the Ming Chinese no longer helping out, oh, okay. With the superior firepower, the Ming Chinese no longer backing them up, Portuguese set up a successful base here on the Straits of Malacca, where it lasted for over 100 years, 130 years. 140 years. This was the gate of their fort that they built here, so no one could take their position, which other Europeans also wanted, like the Dutch, who were milling around next. But it's interesting how now I never wanted to be a Portuguese colonial history guy, but I ended up in all these places: Kochi, Goa, gonna go to Macau near Hong Kong, where the Portuguese also set up a colony. Gonna go to Nagasaki in Japan, where the Portuguese were around the same time. So they had a whole line of settlements from Nagasaki, Japan, Macau, China, Malacca here, what is now Malaysia, around India. Woo! Come on. All right, cool. Portuguese fort here. Still see the guy up there. The ship logo. Alfonso de Albuquerque. Same guy who conquered Goa, India, where I was. Set up old Goa that I saw earlier this year. Also came here. And a guy that Goa also likes, St. Francis Xavier, was also here. So with the Portuguese, they brought their Catholicism, which a lot of people still practice it to this day in Malacca. St. Francis Xavier was buried here for a long time before getting moved to Goa, which was a Portuguese colony a lot longer. Goa and Macau, China, a lot longer into the 20th century than here, which ended in 1641 because of the Dutch. But let's check out the church on top of this hill. One more shot of the front of this. Told a lot of that story on the back side because, as you see, it gets real crowded here with people and families from all over the world. They're like sitting on the cannons. I don't know if these are original. Kind of don't really look like it, but get a little close up. The insignia in here. Let's go through the gatehouse. Some nice pillars. On a cloudy day, well, let's go outside. Guitarist. And then the whole fort area was back here. Cool insignia. Alright. Final view of the Malacca Fortress, Santiago Fortress gatehouse. The fortress in ruins now. It used to surround this whole hill. And the 500-year-old priest and soldier and Portuguese ship still is on the front, over 500 years old. Portuguese got rich from Brazil to Africa to India and these areas. Malay archipelago to China and Japan. Portuguese Empire. Obrigado. Interesting history. Still standing here in Malaysia. Busiest shipping lane in the world, connecting the Indian Ocean and the Pacific. There's shipping boats out there right now, connecting China to India, Africa, the Middle East, and Europe, and Japan and Korea and stuff like that. Thailand, Vietnam. That's why this was so lucrative hundreds of years ago, and to this day, the sea out there. Missionaries like St. Francis Xavier here came and lived here for a long time. He was eventually killed on an island outside of where Hong Kong, China is now. Well, not killed. Well, kind of. The Chinese wouldn't let him off the boat to do his missionary work, and he got sick on the boat and died. They wouldn't let him off, so this was a big loss for the community here, Portuguese in India also. And they buried his body here for a long time, but now they moved it to Goa, India, where I have actually seen the mummified body of St. Francis Xavier. They love him in Goa. So, yes, they Catholicized this place, and this was actually the first church, St. Paul. And gutted in his side, the roof is gone. Still a lot of, this is a newer grave, but still a lot of tombstones here. 1655. Whoa. Good photo, and cool. 1700s. lot of these tombstones are from the Dutch times, actually, which we're gonna get into in a second. Chinese school from Johor. Ooh, first church. This church is there, obviously, but the oldest one in town is from 1710, a Catholic church. I thought it was Portuguese, but after the Dutch takeover, which we're going to talk a little bit next. Wrap this video up. Here's a name, a Portuguese name right here. For a little bit, it's unfortunate. Wow, look at some of these. Walking around places like this, I love it. Rest in peace. Imagine being, I always say this, but imagine being from your home and dying. A little bit shaky this video. Let's exit this part of history.
너 사람 찾고 있는데 지금 지나오는 게 중요하니?
애들이 아니잖아.
Out there on the sea.
그렇지.
Out there on Malacca Strait. Coming next were the Dutch from their base in Jakarta, Java, Indonesia, Batavia. Wanted control of this area. Cool. So here's another Portuguese fort on the actual river here where a lot of the trading ships came. And yeah, got those stones here. There's the river. Got the cannons pointing out. So the Portuguese held it for a long time here. And they controlled all the trade coming in and out. Still a multicultural community for a long time. But these defenses here even didn't hold out for the next owner of the city, the Dutch. Oh, the Dutch lived. Look at that perfect timing. So they came in heavy with the cannons and damaged a lot of these forts and walls and everything. 1641, the Dutch were powerful with their colonial Dutch East Indies Company. And Portuguese, you know, they mostly actually were concentrated on Goa, India, and Brazil. Oh, the kids love the cannons. Me too, buddy. So yeah, these are actually Dutch cannons. That's the symbol for the Dutch East India Company. So they came up here in here next. And Chinese kids counting all the Dutch cannons, I think. That's cool. They came in here next. Ships, cannons blazing. I think a big naval battle went down. And let's talk about the Dutch and then the British. Wrap this thing up over there, the Dutch town. Alright, so this is the only surviving church from the Portuguese era. Built in 1710. The Portuguese Catholic Malacca community still thriving. They have their own little area we're going to look at and get some food later. But yeah, you know, the original Portuguese settlement up on that hill, long crumbled into ruin. But this is still 1710. Lord, hear our prayer. 1710, the Portuguese had this built here with their Asian ministry based in Goa. St. Peter's Church. It's a pretty nice one. Oldest in Malaysia. Some stained glass up there. Got the Stations of the Cross. Last Supper. St. Peter. St. Peter's Basilica. Vatican. It's nice to come into a Catholic church, especially with some history. Over 300 years old. There's only a window of time this is open. It's alright. Lord, hear our prayer. Obrigado, Jesus. Oh, 11 a.m. You should come here. And yeah, I think you get in at 11 and then that's it. But I remember I wanted to come here in 2019. It was closed. So I'm glad. I don't know. It's like an accomplishment. Made it this time. 1710. 300 and can't do the math. 14 years. Community. We have a Hindu temple there and a Muslim mosque there. But we've been in those before. We're going looking for an old Chinese place. But yes, these are built, I believe, in the 1700s. This area. Bikes go by. There's the first UNESCO sign. I see. I don't know why they don't have one more. Chinese tourists. Alright. Let's wrap this up. Malacca history. Next, the Dutch came in. This is the Dutch town here. 1641 to 1795, the Dutch ruled it for a long time, but they kind of closed it down to its status as a Malacca Strait powerhouse port, because they chose Batavia, Jakarta as their place, but they just wanted to own this city just so no other power would control it and they could have monopoly over this place. Yeah, this was built out at Protestant church. And yeah, and it was a Dutch town. 1795, the Napoleon Wars, the British came in. And then the Dutch had it for like 10 more years till 1825, and the British took it over and became one of the Strait settlements with Georgetown, Singapore, and Malacca, the British Malaya Strait settlement. Let's go look at something British. Dutch Tower. It's a very popular place for all the tour groups to congregate. I love Malacca. Alright, here's something British. Oh, nice photo. This was built for Queen Victoria. The British Malaya times. Ni hao, buddy, ni hao. Victoria Regent, 1837-1901, erected by the people of Malacca in great memory of the great Queen. It got its independence and the rest is history. So, this is a good place to end the video, I think. I love Malacca sign, all the tourists. Wow, we could dress up like this, Ming Dynasty style. Awesome. Cool. Actually, that's not going to wrap it up. Now I'm going to the Portuguese area. Portuguese settlement kept going here for a long time. They had a big impact on the city. A lot of people were part Portuguese, part Chinese, part Portuguese, part Malay. They actually moved kind of south from here, I think. And there's still a place called the Portuguese settlement, so I want to check that out actually. Get some food there. Obrigado. Back to the Portuguese. Something. Christ the Redeemer, old Portuguese settlement.
It says right here. Right. No, it says right here, 1988.
that. It's older than that. Wow. And I haven't seen the sea in a while. There's the open ocean. A little far from me here, and I haven't seen dogs in a while, which is weird. I haven't seen a dog for like 2 months. Some dogs here. I have to see here. Yeah, this weird Portuguese area where everything's in Portuguese.
The dog just
Everyone's
drank
Catholic.
so much water, and then he jumped too much to drink the water.
Interesting. Back to 1511. Portuguese settlement. Every place here has a cross and big shrine to Mother Mary and Jesus. And now they're dancing here.
I want to go dance with them.
Very interesting. Big Jesus here.
Come on!
Interesting. 500 years later. Alright, thanks for watching Malacca. A couple bucket list things from 2019. Going to this woman's bar again. Seeing the Zhonghe plaque. Going into the 1710 church. And swimming in the Straits of Malacca. Back here again. Make a video about this, but this is kind of like a bucket list thing for me. Because of all the Chinese students I've had since I first came here in 2019, and I've literally told like hundreds of people about this spot. That I was here 5 years ago, so this is kind of like a bucket list, like go back and see this place again where Zhonghe landed 1405 from the Ming Dynasty treasure ships. 我喜欢历史. I made it. I made it to this church. I don't know, this and the Zhonghe statue. Two things I wanted to accomplish. Again, since coming here in 2019. Last time I came over here, it was closed. I don't know why. But I wanted to make it in this church. Now I have. Yes. One of the most historic shipping lanes in the world, the Straits of Malacca. I don't care if this is some kind of pilgrimage island. This beach is beautiful. I haven't swam since February in India. I'm going in there. It's one of the most historic straits of all of world history. Shipping route, Straits of Malacca.